Something extraordinary is happening at the Cincinnati Open, and it has almost nothing to do with the scoreboard. Inside the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, the atmosphere is beginning to feel less like a normal WTA tournament and more like a national celebration. And at the center of it all is Alex Eala. But here's the twist. One of the people watching this phenomenon unfold is Maria Sharapova, five-time Grand Slam champion, former world number one, and one of the most recognizable stars tennis has ever produced. Sharapova has seen what global tennis superstardom looks like. She has experienced the crowds. She has experienced the pressure. She knows what happens when a player becomes bigger than the tournament itself. And now, standing inside Cincinnati's tennis center, she is watching something she did not expect. Not simply great tennis. Not another rising star. She's watching thousands of Philippine flags filling the stands. She's hearing fans chant Alex Eala's name. She's watching an entire community travel enormous distances simply to see one young woman walk onto a tennis court. And suddenly, the story of Alex Eala is no longer just about rankings. It's about something much bigger. It's about identity. It's about representation. It's about what happens when an athlete gives millions of people a reason to believe that someone from their own community can belong on the biggest stages in the world. The Eala effect has arrived in Cincinnati, and tennis is starting to take notice. Let's go back for a moment because you cannot understand what is happening in Cincinnati without understanding what happened in Toronto. Just weeks earlier, Toronto's Sobeys Stadium was transformed by the Filipino community. Thousands of fans packed the venue. Philippine flags appeared throughout the stands. Fans were chanting Eala's name. The atmosphere became so intense that it barely resembled an ordinary tennis tournament. This wasn't simply a few supporters showing up for their favorite player. This was a movement. People were traveling from different cities. Families were organizing their schedules around Eala's matches. Fans were staying awake until extremely late hours to watch her compete. And some supporters were spending their hard-earned money simply for the chance to be inside the stadium when Alex walked onto the court. Now Cincinnati is experiencing something remarkably similar. The Filipino community across the United States has mobilized again. Fans have traveled from Ohio and surrounding states. Others have made much longer journeys. Some have flown across the country. Some have driven for hours. And the reason is remarkably simple. They want to see Alex Eala. For many of these fans, she represents something that goes far beyond tennis. She represents home. She represents possibility. She represents the idea that a young woman from the Philippines can walk into a massive international sporting event and command the attention of the entire building. That is why the atmosphere feels different. It isn't just excitement. It feels like a homecoming. And perhaps nobody understands the magnitude of that transformation better than someone who has already experienced global tennis fame herself. Maria Sharapova. Sharapova knows what it means to become a household name. She knows what it means to walk into a stadium and immediately hear thousands of people react. She knows what it means when a player's personality, story, appearance, nationality, and achievements combine into something much larger than their results. That's why her reaction to Eala carries so much weight. Because Sharapova isn't simply another spectator. She's someone who has already lived through the exact phenomenon that Eala is now beginning to experience. And there is an incredible full-circle element to this story. For Alex Eala, Maria Sharapova was once the superstar, the idol, the player she watched as a young girl, the kind of athlete who seemed impossibly far away. Someone competing on the biggest courts in the world while Eala was still learning what it meant to dream about becoming a professional tennis player. Then something happened that Eala herself later described as incredibly meaningful. Sharapova acknowledged her publicly. After Eala's breakthrough moments on the tennis circuit, Sharapova left a simple comment on a Wimbledon social media post featuring the young Filipina. Just a couple of words. A star. Simple. But to Eala, it meant something enormous. Because suddenly, the person she had admired as a child knew who she was. And Eala later explained just how special that felt. Sharapova had been her childhood idol. Someone she looked up to. Someone whose career helped shape her understanding of what a successful professional tennis player could look like. So, imagine the emotional reversal. The little girl who once watched Sharapova is now the player Sharapova is watching. And then imagine Sharapova walking into Cincinnati and seeing something she could never have experienced when she was first starting out. A sea of Philippine flags. Thousands of fans. A community that has essentially adopted Eala as one of its most important sporting representatives. That is the Eala effect. And it isn't slowing down. In fact, Cincinnati may be the clearest example yet of how quickly this phenomenon is growing. The tournament's ticket demand has become part of the story itself. Tournament director Bob Moran has spoken about the extraordinary level of interest surrounding Eala. And that's important, because tournament directors have seen stars come and go. They have watched Serena Williams. They have watched Maria Sharapova. They have watched Venus Williams. They have watched Coco Gauff. They have watched Naomi Osaka. They have watched countless Grand Slam champions and major stars walk through the gates. So, when someone involved in running a major tournament describes the demand surrounding a relatively young player as unbelievable, you pay attention. This is not simply a social media phenomenon. It's affecting the physical economics of the tournament. People are buying tickets. People are traveling. People are filling seats. People are creating an atmosphere. And that is precisely what tennis needs. Andy Roddick even gave the phenomenon its own name, Ilamani. The idea is simple. Alex Eala has become so closely associated with the passion of Filipino supporters that her name itself has become shorthand for the movement. And Roddick's reaction is telling. He isn't looking at the phenomenon as a problem. He's looking at it as an opportunity. Because if one young player can bring an enormous new audience into professional tennis, everyone benefits. That's the bigger picture. Tennis has spent years trying to expand its audience, trying to reach new markets, trying to connect with younger generations, trying to find new stars who can carry the sport into its next era. And suddenly, Eala is doing something that marketing campaigns cannot manufacture. She's bringing people into the stadium. She's giving them an emotional reason to care. And perhaps most importantly, she's giving them someone to identify with. That's why former British number 1 Greg Rosetsky's comparison to the intensity surrounding Serena Williams matters. It's not necessarily about comparing their achievements. It is about the energy, the cultural connection, the way a fan base can transform an event. When Serena played, entire communities felt represented. When Eala plays, Filipinos around the world feel something similar. They see their flag. They hear their language. They see someone who understands their culture, standing on a global stage. And that creates an emotional connection that statistics alone cannot explain. Now look at where Eala actually came from. This story did not begin in Cincinnati. It began when she was just 4 years old and first picked up a tennis racket. 4 years old. At an age when most children are still discovering what sports they enjoy, Eala was beginning a journey that would eventually take her around the world. In 2022, she made history by becoming the first Filipino player to win a junior Grand Slam singles title. That achievement was enormous, but it was still junior tennis. The professional world remained ahead of her. Then came her transition into the senior game. And suddenly, the results started arriving. Her breakthrough.